Good morning. This is Susan and Susan's Ramblings. Please subscribe, share, and like this video. This is a repeat of yesterday's because I goofed it up and I didn't see it until I went back later, much later. Because I'm going to do it all over again today, and later on I'll have our second recipes for the day. First of all, I've been working on crafts. I love to cook because I can be creative with my recipes, but I also like crafts because I can let my imagination go wild. A couple of years ago when I was in quarantine for that whole year, it was self-quarantine, okay? My health problems, yeah, let's face it, if I get it, I'm dead. Okay, so I stay home. Anyway, I started bottle crafts then during that time because I really didn't have anything else to do, and it had to be cheap because my income doesn't stretch that far. So anyway, I started bottle crafts, and I used air dry clay on these. This one is first one is a little bottle that I got of drinks of apple cider in Dollar General. Now, I was there yesterday and they didn't have any more. But anyway, that's the bottle that I got. I got a lot of air dry on this one. I was just thinking I've got to put some leaves in there somewhere, or I got to put some stems in there somewhere. Okay. But anyway, this is the first bottle. It's all air dry. It's all air dry clay that will be painted on over when we get it dry. But it's still not quite dry enough. But we've got some pretty thick layers there. So once they get dry, I will show you our first step in it, okay? I know it looks rugged now, but it'll look fine by the time we get done, I hope. The next one I have is a wine bottle. I know I don't drink, but I have friends that do, and so they save me their bottles. I have several bottles. I have one friend that calls me up maybe every 6 months and says, hey, I got some more bottles for you. And she brings them down to the cafe, and then the cafe brings them to me. Anyway, so that's my wine bottle. I got special plans for that one too. I don't know if these things are going to turn out. It'd be just like, well, if I succeed, you see it. If I fail, well, you see it too. Anyway, let's go to my recipe, should we? I gotta put these away somewhere so they don't get wrecked. And they're not air dried yet, so it will be it's getting there. But it takes 2 or 3 days for it to air dry. And I don't like working with stuff I have to bake. My recipes. The first one, I know we're going to go on seasoning mixes, and we will. But one of the first things I'm going to show you is gravy mixes. Simply because, I don't know about you, but I use gravy mixes a lot. And I don't know what's causing that shadow on me. Anyway, I use gravy mixes a lot. Because we don't have the hand drippings anymore that we used to have. And I get lazy, and I just open up a package and I put my water in and I'm ready to go. Anyway, but I haven't been able to find the cheap ones, the ones that are $3-4. They're all gone all the time, and I don't blame them. That's what I would take too. But I don't want to pay $1 for gravy mix. So anyway, here's my gravy mix recipes. The first one is 3/4 cup flour, 3 tablespoons of bouillon granules, your choice, 1 teaspoon of pepper. And you combine all these together, mix them well, store in an airtight container, and shake the container before you each use. For your additional, it's 1 tablespoon of butter and 1 cup of water. Very easy to make. You just make it put the water and stuff in, and you whisk it until it becomes thick. Next one is country gravy. This is a little bit different. Not much. But this one has, the other one had pepper in it. Yep, it had pepper in it. This one's got dehydrated chopped onions. That's the only difference in them besides the black pepper. It's got salt and it doesn't have brilliant cubes. I'm sorry, it is different, isn't it? 3/4 cup of flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. It says you may add more if you desire, and 1 teaspoon of minced dehydrated chopped onions. And the instructions are the same as before. 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 cup of water. Okay, this is my third recipe, even though it says 2. Gravy mix 2. 1 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of bouillon powder, your choice. 1 teaspoon of salt. You omit this salt if you're buying using store-bought bouillon because there's a lot of salt in there. You don't need extra salt. And the instructions are all the same. 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 cup of water. Okay? Now we're going into the spice mixes. This is one of my favorite mixes, seasoning mix. I use it in all kinds of meat. I use it especially like it on pulled pork. 1/2 cup paprika, 3/4 cup sugar, white or brown. I prefer the brown. 3 3/4 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, which is optional, and 1 teaspoon of black pepper, which is optional. And you mix them all together, store in an airtight container just like before. Shake them before you use them, and rub your mixture over the meat before roasting. Like I said, I especially like it in pulled pork. Okay, my next one. Onion soup mix. 3 tablespoons of dried minced onions, 2 tablespoons of beef bouillon powder, or you can substitute 3 to 4 crushed bouillon cubes. 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of finely ground sea salt. Don't put the salt in if you're using bouillon cubes. And 1/4 cup of black pepper. There again, you blend it all together. The instructions are all the same. I'm not going to read it all to you all the time. Store in an airtight container and make sure you leave enough headspace so you can shake the jars to make sure the ingredients are well mixed before using. Start with a teaspoon full of flavor. I think you take 2 tablespoons of this to make an onion packet, I believe. That will be coming up later today, those instructions. And I will be posting several versions of some of these recipes, especially the onion mix recipe and the ranch one and the taco one. There's a lot of them out there. It's going to depend on which one you want the best. Okay, and then you can make a dip with it too. To make your dip, 1/2 cup mayo, 1/4 cup sour cream, or you can use Greek yogurt or regular plain yogurt. Anyway, 1 teaspoon of mix to the mayo. I've got 1 tablespoon. I crossed it out, worked up to 1 teaspoon, and work up to 1 tablespoon. Lemon pepper. 2 heaping tablespoons of dried grated lemon peel, 2 tablespoons of black pepper, and 1 tablespoon of salt. There again, the instructions are the same, and we'll just kind of forget them for now, okay? Once you start doing these, the instructions are all the same. Mix them thoroughly, put in an airtight container, shake before use, and that's it. And then you go to whatever you want, the flavor you want on your dish. It's not what I want, it's what you want. Next one. Oops, I skipped that one somehow or other the other day. Ranch dressing mix. 2 tablespoons of dried parsley, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of dried dill, 1 teaspoon of dried chives, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of black pepper. 2 teaspoons of minced onions are optional, but I put it in for a little bit flavoring. Follow the same directions. For a dressing, 1 cups of mayo, 1/4 cup of sour cream or yogurt, 1 teaspoon of dressing mix. I start with 2 tablespoons, I believe, of dressing mix. Um, but that's just my flavor. Okay. I often add this recipe, this mix to chicken or beef when cooking. It gives you an extra layer of flavor. Okay, next one. Pumpkin pie spice. I'm trying to see if I've got 2 pages there. Pumpkin pie spice. Yes, Thanksgiving's over, but we use pumpkin pie spice, or I do anyway, in pumpkin bread and when I make my pies. And I make pies, pumpkin pies, all year round. 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground allspice, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves. This is another recipe that I will be giving several versions of. Also, the apple recipe, the apple pie spice recipe, I will be giving several versions of. So then you try them all and use the one you like the best, okay? Next one, Italian seasoning mix. This is from Mary's Nest. Mary's Nest is a YouTube channel. I really like her. She's got a bunch of down-to-earth recipes, I guess you call them. Italian seasoning. This is another recipe I've been using a lot lately, and I don't know why I go through spells. But anyway, this is what I'm using. And I'm not too sure I'm pronouncing all these names right. So, yeah, you read the directions and don't listen to my stuttering over them. 1/4 cup of dried oregano, 2 tablespoons of dried marjoram, 2 tablespoons of dried thyme, 1 tablespoon of dried basil, I don't know if that's right, 1 tablespoon of dried rosemary, 1 tablespoon of rubber sage. And then you go again. I just sprinkle it on. I just sprinkle it on. Or if I'm using a recipe, I use the recipe, I will use the mix, the amount they say there. Taco seasoning mix. 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of ground cumin, 1 tablespoon ground coriander, 1 tablespoon garlic powder, 1 tablespoon paprika. You can have it sweet. 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. You can add or subtract on this cayenne pepper. There again, all the directions are the same. I've got a frog in my throat, I guess. Anyway, you start with I think it's 2 tablespoons, if I'm right, to a package of taco. To each pound of ground meat that you use. And that's it for today. Or that's it for the group up. Let's hope it turns out better this time. I don't want to have to do it again. And I can't figure out how to switch it around to make it the way it is. So anyway, we'll see you later today with our second mix. Have a great day. God bless you. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.